Okay, good morning. This is day 124. I'm making little videos about describe a day or thought in the life of Schizophrenic Dominic. I believe that I experienced schizophrenia, but that I'm not diseased or crazy, and that it's a reality to be experienced. In day 17 of these videos, I describe why I call myself schizophrenic rather than targeted individual. In day 45, I express why I make these videos in a 3-minute intro, and then there's the rest of the video. And I've written a book on medium.com, which I believe is ample enough to be read, and it's imperative to be read now, so I submit it before it's edited. And it's not the best book, but it's not that bad. And so, yeah, it's worth a read. There's a lot of information in there about voice hearing in the public domain, and about technology which can produce voice hearing, which is the main reason why I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and how it's a weaponized system that has the technology to do that. It also talks about other instances of what I experienced with schizophrenia and my thought processes, which could have gotten me targeted for schizophrenic infliction. And I'll start today talking about, I just wanted to say, there was a guy that works for the UN, and personally I think the UN was a good idea. Maybe it needs to be modified in the modern world, with once we learn more about its faulties, or frailties, or whatever. But the fact that it has the Declaration of Human Rights is important, and it's an achievement for humanity to have that unifying those unifying ideas and rights declarations. Anyways, the UN, this guy gentleman that works for the UN, or associated with the UN, his name is Mohammed Safa, and I saw he said, if you believe that fertilized eggs are people deserving of life, but you don't believe that a parent traveling through the desert or across an ocean on a raft or something is a parent with a child deserving of life, and that they deserve to be cared for just like the fertilized egg, then you don't really. I think he said your ideas are don't say your ideas are religious or something like that. I thought that was kind of interesting and very poignant point. And I thought this morning, actually, as I was waking up, I had Christmas music come onto my ear, and I was thinking to myself, like, next Christmas comes up, like, I think it's imperative that we really take a look at that story in America, in the United States, when you have a situation where Christian nationalists are waving this Christian banner while doing these unchristian things, that just remind them that Jesus was an immigrant, Jesus was a refugee, and they're gonna play semantics with that, but they look foolish when they do. And you're supposed to care for the less fortunate people in the world, and I think we should remind everybody that I was raised Catholic. I'm not Catholic anymore, but like, I still think the Jesus story is a pretty powerful story. It's a powerful myth, and uh, if you're gonna wave the Christian story, then let's really analyze the story, because you celebrate Christmas every year, and that whole story is about somebody on the run from an authoritarian government being born. And so, uh, it's quite insane that the same people that say that's their religion are doing what they're doing, and it makes you wonder what those religions are really all about. Are they actually some other type of cult disguised as Christian. And I actually, my experience with the Christian churches in America during my time being tortured for 5 or 6 years was that they're full of shit, and they're uh they're not really, there's no such thing as Christianity in America. It's bogus, and that was my experience. And so uh that's what I'll get into a little bit here. But like in my experience, like what happened to me was like what I found this thought a couple days ago, so it's gonna be out of place. But it's like it never happened. Like what happened to me is being treated like it never happened. It's being erased, and they're just telling you move on with your life and go forward from here and everything. And it's like, targeted justice was suing the government for money. Even lawsuits are being ignored by the administration. So like people are winning cases in like a definitive reality. This is the way it happened, and it's being said this is how it happened, and the government is just flouting those decisions and saying like this decisions never happened. And it's just like this Trump thing is. I tell you, he is a bogus guy who goes around pretending that he was doing my bidding in whatever he was up to, and it was all the opposite of what I wanted to see happen in the world. And uh, he used me for popularity, and he he manipulated people into treating me like a mistreating me or whatever because he was waving this false flag or whatever. And anyways, uh, I was just struck by like the idea that he's erasing history like Medgar Evers from a ship, or Harvey Milk, or uh, Jackie Robinson from do- documents online or whatever. And it's like he's trying to erase history. Like this MAGA movement is just making a fake America. It's like it's making an America that never was, or it's eliminating things from their MAGA agenda that they don't like. Like if America actually practiced XYZ, they're gonna say America practiced Y, not X and Z. And so it's like you can't have an alphabet with half the letters in the alphabet and pretend you're going to have an intellectual language. And that's it's like when something happens, you have to document it, you have to acknowledge it. And my experience with human beings in America is that they don't like to acknowledge reality, they don't like to acknowledge the truth. And MAGA is no different. MAGA is very much like they're not acknowledging all of reality. And it's like it dissecting all of reality that they know to be true. And I had a theory a long time ago, and it was like you look at Trump and he's got that golden palace, and he walks around like this mafia boss and like this ridiculous figure with his Miss America pageants and all this, and you think, is he trying to undermine America? Like is he like, or is he trying to undermine capitalism? Because it sure does seem like he's full of it. And I'm not saying that capitalism doesn't deserve to be questioned and modified and or eliminated if the world wanted to. But I don't think you're going to get the world to want to. So that's why I say like, maybe Trump, I just point this out, like I think Trump could be like a communist or something. And he just seems like a ridiculous figure. And so uh my experience, like I say, like he's erasing history. Like that's a very something that communists did. You know, regimes will they'll erase history, and authoritarian regimes, like fascist regimes. He's practicing fascism, but it's like it's so pathetic that it makes you wonder: is he secretly like the like what kind of guy walks around in a golden palace and then tells kids that they can't have 18 pencils or something, or 5 pencils? And it's like it's so ridiculous. It's like I don't know. So that was my thought on that. And like I said, like that never happened. Erasing history, like slavery never happened, or the Native American genocide never happened. This is what MAGA practices, and he's a very much he's trying to pretend like he never participated in the torture of me for 5 or 6 years, and he's pretending like it never happened, and pretending like he's a champion protecting people from that or whatever. And so I was thinking, like, the fact that it never happened is because to even like anybody who experiences like the faulty memory of American fascist people or authoritarians or whatever, and in any country around the world, really, it's like it's because you never mattered, and it never happened to you. It's not acknowledged that it happened to you because it never did happen to you, because you never mattered, you never counted. So what happened to you doesn't count. And so, uh, that's my experience with this government and country. And uh, they now they're still treating people that way in all these other various ways or whatever. That's like the genocides that happen around the world. It's like the people don't count. They don't count or whatever. And that gets into the beginning of this video, which is what, like, the fact that like the fetus counts, but the people that come out of the fetus don't count. And so I don't that's just it's a really bizarre religion when that is what your belief is. And so uh yeah. And Homo Deus Harari talks about how animal slaughter uh leads us to devaluing human beings. And I've expressed that in other videos, but I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, so like animal slaughter, like just killing animals and stuff. And I eat meat, and I'm trying not to eat meat. And I understand if like people eat meat, because I go back and forth on it. Like, is it okay? Is it not okay? And I was like, are we carnivores? Are we not carnivores? And stuff like, even if we are carnivores, do we need to stay carnivores if our consciousness is telling us something different? And so, uh, you're omnivores or whatever. And I was struck by the fact that, uh, you know, the death, the killing of other living beings is probably related to the killing of human beings. And when we okay one, we okay the other. It's just another step going, because you dehumanize the other, and then they're no longer human. They don't count, so you can kill them. And so that's kind of what I was thinking the other day when I read that out of that book, and with everything going on with like the anti-immigrant, the genocides in the world. And it's just making me think like maybe it's related to our carnivore diet or whatever. Maybe it's just the devaluing of life. All right, wealthy enough to have. Okay, so the other day I expressed an idea that I was talking about, like, people just want to be wealthy enough to afford a house, or fund a moment with their child, or two kids or one kid, or to have kids or whatever. Or they want to have wealthy enough to afford a car, or food or medicine, and that's all people really want. And that thought or idea came from a post that I was reading on Instagram by the Fever player Sophie Cunningham, and I just wanted to give credit to that. But I didn't say it in the other video, but I don't know if she said it. It was like a post on her thing, and that's where I read it, and so I was remembering that, and I had said it. Okay, so physics, free will. Okay, I gotta stop here because it's been 15 minutes and 30 seconds. But that was today's thought process in the life of a schizophrenic, and maybe that's why they gave me schizophrenia. I don't know. Okay.